Hey guys, Ken Smith Fishing. Yes, I have no voice. So I wanted to share with you guys, so I did the same thing you guys do. When you can't fish, you start going through tackle, you start shopping online, you start doing all the things that you don't do when you're normally busy fishing in your off time. So I've been shopping online. And I want to share with you guys some of the stuff I found, specifically some new stuff from the folks at 6th Sense. Now, it's interesting to me, there's a lot of really big bait companies out there, but you don't see many of them constantly coming out with new baits. And that's one of the fun things about working with the 6th Sense guys. They're really open to ideas, they're really open to colors, and they're constantly tweaking and changing baits up and doing some new stuff. So they've come up with they've come up with several things, but 3 things that I think are particularly cool. The first one is the new Munch bait. So this is a bait that's just come out. This bait is not available at the 6th Sense website. It's only available at select tackle retailers right now. It should be available on the website, I think, in December. But if you can find some of these, I'd grab them. So if you're not familiar with 6th Sense crankbaits, this bait, most of you are familiar with the Strike King 1.5. The Strike King 1.5 is 2 3/4 inches long and weighs 3/8 of an ounce. This bait is a smaller profile bait. This bait is only 2.5 inches long, but it weighs more. It's a 7/16 ounce bait, which means it's smaller than a profile-wise, smaller than a 1.5, but actually easier to throw than a 1.5. I think that's going to be a really, really big seller for 6th Sense. I think it's really going to do well for all of us as well. The second thing they came out with that I'm really interested in is, again, something that's not available on the website yet, but they came out with a gyro tailspin. Now, I still have not gotten, matter of fact, we tried to do it this summer over to Toledo Bend to fish with Glenn Freeman on the tailspinner bite, on the wingding bite, as he calls it, because he throws the wingding. But what you'll see is, let me actually open this up. So it's a big profile bait. It's a much thicker bait, bigger body bait than typically what you see in these style baits. This particular one is a 3/4 ounce. It's 2 inches long. I'm real curious to go out and throw this bait. This is something that I need to get better at, and the weather's about to get right to be throwing both tail spinners and jigs as well. So I'm real excited about that bait. Another bait, not available on the website yet, but available in academies and some other select retailers as well. So if you see those, you might grab them as well. The other thing I'm really, really interested in is they've come out with the Axel, which is a new swim jig. Now, interestingly, it's a new swim jig, but it's a very, very different swim jig. And here's why it's a different swim jig. So historically, swim jig hook is fixed. This hook is not fixed. And what they've done is, ouch, they put a really dang sharp hook on it. They've actually created the bait to mimic a swim jig bait, They've actually created a bait that mimics just throwing it on an open weighted hook. So what they've done is they've put a screw lock on there. Let's see if I can get this done without making a mess. We're getting a hook in the finger. So she has 2 looks, hungry and guilty. That's her hungry look. Usually she looks guilty about something, whether she did something or not. Could have been one of the other dogs in the house. But that is my audience when I film most of the time, right there. Good look, huh? So now you can just screw that bait onto the screw lock and actually rig it. And by the way, it's got a massive hook on it. And actually rig your swim jig completely weedless. I think that's really cool. It's got a huge hook on it. I've not thrown this yet, but I talked to a buddy who got a hold of a few of the early ones, and he said it actually skips really well too. Now, my experiences with swim jigs, they don't get hung up a lot except in 2 scenarios. I seem to hang them up a lot in pad stems, and I seem to hang them up a lot around cypress stump knees, and I don't know why that is, but I'll be throwing that a lot this year. I really like that bait setup. So that is available on the website. in very, very limited quantities right now. And what you're going to notice is they're all a little bit heavier. So what I've been told is because of the design of this, it actually wants to ride up in the water column. So they actually made them a little bit heavier. This one I believe is a 1/2 ounce if I remember what I ordered. Where did the box go? Here it is. Yeah, so that's a 1/2 ounce in the new Axel swim jig. I think that's going to be a really cool bait and something I'm going to throw a lot this year. I did finally get some Abrazex in, and by the way, they don't make the flipping fluorocarbon anymore. So I went with the Abrazex fluorocarbon, and that was directly from our buddy Brian at Seagar. He suggested this to be my flipping fluorocarbon going forward. I've talked about this a bunch. When I'm flipping in those deep bushes, I don't want to throw braid because it bites into limbs or into buckbrush. So I like going to really, really heavy fluorocarbon, and that 25 is the stuff. If you want, by the way, I've never talked about these except a couple of times in the boat. These are extremely good braid scissors, and they're really cheap. I think they're $6. I'm gonna look real quick, hold on. So those are only $6 a piece. And the reason I've not talked about them in the past is they're always out of stock. They've got these in stock right now. So $6, 10 will get you 10% off of that. So you can buy them for $5.40 or something like that. The only other thing I wanted to mention to you guys, and this is another item that you guys see me wearing a lot, but they stay out of stock all the time and they're in stock right now, is the 6th Sense fishing gloves. So what I like about these gloves is they've got basically a micro suede style on patches on the places where you connect to your reel. And once those get wet, now they're pretty tacky anyway, but once they get wet, they're super tacky. I love my 6th Sense gloves. I ordered myself a pair, and I also just sent a pair to Terry Hawkins. If you watched the OHIV videos, you saw Terry absolutely wore a set of his old gloves out, and pieces were falling off, and he was cutting them off during that tournament. So I think he probably got those today or tomorrow. He may not know they're coming when he sees this video, but those are on the way to him as well. So that's some really cool stuff from 6th Sense, from our friends at Seagar. I think this and this are super cool, and I really like the idea of having a little bitty crankbait that I can throw a long ways. Now, the advertised is 2 to 3 feet on this. So when you're fishing over that shallow grass in the spring, I ordered several colors. Actually, I ordered 5 or 6 colors in this bait. So the Munch 40 is that bait. Now, I said I ordered their own back order, but I told the guys, here's what I want when they come in. So hopefully those will be available soon on the website, but I'm told they are available in certain academies right now as well, and a couple of other retailers. So look for those. The only other thing I wanted to do today was a spark drawing. So let's do a real quick spark drawing and give somebody $250 this week. Okay, so spark drawing this week. Now, by the way, I'm looking right now. So there's been a number of fish paid out, $500 to $250 for the Big Bass Awards for Spark Energy, where you submit the fish to ShareLunker and then you're paid. But looking at the results right now, there is no current Big Bass. $2,000 at each of these lakes through the end of the year. There's nothing at Falcon. You can't tell me how many 8-pounders have been caught at Falcon. There's nothing at Cedar Creek. There's nothing at Texoma. No fish at Conroe. No fish at Ray Roberts. No fish at Toledo Bend. Guys, that's $2 grand somebody can make in December by going and catching an 8-pounder. You got to be a Spark Energy customer or a Spark Fishing affiliate. That's only $75. Go catch an 8-pounder out of one of those lakes. Submit it to ShareLunker. Submit it to, once it's approved, submit it to Spark. There's $2 grand to be collected there on 6 different lakes that somebody can collect. So anyway, this is the easy way to do it. $250, and we got 2 there, so I dropped 1, and that's going to go to Wayne Ebar out of Manny, Louisiana. Wayne, thanks for, I know because you're in Louisiana, you're not a Spark customer, you're a Spark Fishing affiliate. You paid your $75, and you just made it back many times over. So congratulations, Wayne. By the way, guys, I feel really stable right now. I'm continuing to do my physical therapy. I'm going to try to get back in the boat somewhere in the next week so we can get some actual fishing video up, just because I'm dying to get back in the boat and go fishing. The weather's cooled off. I love those cool mornings. So stick around. We'll be back fishing pretty soon, and hopefully back to 2 videos a week as soon as I'm able to do that. So thanks for sticking with me through this little rough spot for my fishing time. And I hope to see you guys again soon. We'll be back at Rayburn certainly in December a couple times, and hope to bump into a bunch of you guys. Thanks for tuning in.